Let's get some price picks in today, guys. As you see by the title, I hit a beautiful 38x. So this is 175 into 6.6k. This is not my account. It's one of my good friends within the Discord because I am limited on my main account, as you guys may know if you've been watching the channel for a while. So this puts the Discord profits up very nicely, up at 580.1 units of profit over these 5 months. So this graph is the key thing to be looking for. If someone's not tracking their units and they run a Discord, they're doing it all wrong. I'm actually able to prove that I'm profitable time and time again. And guys, I have great news in this video for those who've been wanting to try the Discord, but we're already on Underdog. That was the only way to sort of get a free access. Now I'm offering on Dabble if you use my code OddsJuice and you make a deposit and prove it to me either through Instagram DMs or Discord DMs, whatever it is. Or if you use my code on Sleeper, so Sleeper is going to give you a $500 deposit match. Use code OddsJuice. I'm only going to give you a week free of my price picks and underdog picks, which is exactly what I track in the spreadsheet that we're up 580 units. But I just started on Sleeper, so I'll give you a full free month of Sleeper picks. So full free month of Sleeper plus price picks and underdog for 1 week, because that's kind of my bread and butter. I don't want to be giving away too many free picks on price picks because, as I've shown time and time again, I'm kind of the best in the industry when it comes to price picks. And I don't mean that like loosely. I mean that because I actually prove it with facts and this spreadsheet right here. Scroll all the way to the bottom. You guys could click this in the link in the description. We're up 500 units. 500 units since November 20th. A unit is basically what you're putting on every single bet. So if you were putting $10 per bet for the past 6 months, you'd be up 5k. And that's if you're not scaling up your bankroll as you go. Some people are all the way up into $100 bankrolls, literally cashing out 15k within a single month. And I could even prove it to you here in the Discord. If I go and type this guy Frankie J, I remember he sent a picture right down here of his picket. This was April 2024. 15k in profit because he's been here for a while. He's been here since January 1st and he got his units all the way up to $100. So that is the promo I'm running and going to be running. As you can see, all the details are in here if you need to pause it. The only thing is for new customers, I'll give you 1 month free of Sleeper Picks plus a week free of the VIP or VIP Plus. So just know that. Now getting onto the board, I'm going to be making a 4-power with a mix of NBA and MLB. And the first pick I'm going with, honestly, is just going to be a stack. I've been taking this over and over and over. And I'm going to continue taking it as long as I see the value in it, which is Karl-Anthony Towns on his over points, or over 18.5 points in this case. He did clear this last game and he got a ton of minutes. 39 minutes last game. I expect him to get somewhere similar tonight. We're going to look at some projections in a bit. And then I'm going to be pairing that up with Naz Reed on his under 9.5 points. Now, this line is always too high on price picks. I'm not sure where they always have it at 9.5. Every other sportsbook always has it at 8.5. But price picks feels a bit special when they throw it at 9.5. And I'll explain why 9.5 is so significant compared to 8.5, especially on a player like Naz Reed. So get into the details for both these players right now. So let's start with Karl-Anthony Towns. The first thing you're going to notice is that juice towards the over here at minus 125. So the over 18.5 is the more likely outcome than his under. So that's the first reason we're taking it. We're going to go over to his game logs now. And as I said, the last game he played 39 minutes. Throughout all the other games in the Phoenix series, he was playing sort of low minutes here, 24, 24. The first 2 games he played pretty decent minutes here, 29 and 27. I expect his minutes to sort of be scaling up. He was playing pretty limited minutes in this series, as you can see by the first 3 games, 27, 24, 24. But this 39-minute closeout game is super important. I expect this opener game versus Denver Nuggets to be quite similar. And I did check some projections. He's projected at 32 minutes on RotoWire, so that is a pretty good indicator to see. Honestly, even if he gets 30 minutes, I think that's a nice, comfortable spot. He dropped 18 points in 24 minutes in Game 3, and he dropped 19 points in 27 minutes in Game 1. The only game he did not do much here was Game 2, where we only got 12 points in 24 minutes. Now, the reason I always pair this with Naz Reed is because as a 6th man, his minutes are going to be bleeding into Karl-Anthony Towns. So essentially, the more minutes Towns is playing, the less minutes Naz Reed is going to be playing. But what I like most about Naz Reed is honestly the fact that he's at 9.5. We're getting a full point of value compared to the sportsbooks. If we go over to Bet365, I'll just show you his points prop is set at 8.5. Yes, there's a little bit of juice towards the over at minus 120. But Karl-Anthony Towns over 18.5 points was even more juice than this. There's no reason for this to be at 9.5. We could go tap into Naz Reed here. He got 20 minutes in the closeout game, 18, 17, and 19. And he did clear this in 2 out of the 4 games. I don't really care. Cat has been putting in more minutes. I expect Naz Reed to also slow down in his minutes. And the projection for him is about 18 minutes. I think that makes sense. Maybe 17, 18 minutes tonight. And the less minutes he gets, the less likely he is to go over his points. But again, let me explain what I like most about this is that 9.5 points prop. When you look at Naz Reed, about 50% of his points are going to be coming from that 3 ball. That difference between 8.5 and 9.5 is so crucial for a player like this. Imagine he gets to 6 points and he hits a 3. When he hits that 3, we cash the under 9.5 points, but we would not cash that under 8.5. Think about it another way. Let's say he gets 4 points, hits a 3. If he gets 1 more field goal and gets over to that 9 points, we still cash our under 9.5, but we would be breached on that under 8.5. It is so important when you have a player that about half his points are coming from threes and there's a low quantity of points. He's only at 9.5 prop. He's not like a 33.5 prop where it's completely different, like a Luka Doncic. When you have a player like this, where a high percentage of his points are going to come from threes, you really want to get that protection on that 3 ball by getting every extra point you possibly can. And this line is too high at 9.5. As long as it's at 9.5, I'm going to keep spamming it. And as long as Karl-Anthony Towns has good value on that over, I'm going to go with this exact relationship every single time for as long as Minnesota is in the playoffs. Remember, if a 2-man hits 3x, that means you have to hit about 33.33% of your 2-mans. I think this specific relationship between Towns and Naz Reed will hit more than 33% of the time, which is why I think stacking these two guys is a good play. Obviously, we're not playing a 2-man because you can't even play 2 guys from the same team within an entry. But we're going to make it even better by going over to MLB and throwing in another stack. And our MLB stack is going to be from Cleveland. We're going with David Fry on his over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. He's expected to be batting 5th. And we're going to be pairing that up with someone who's going to be batting close to him, which is going to be Tyler Freeman on his over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. He's expected to be batting 6th. Let's take a look at the juice, which is always very important when you're placing props like this. Go over to Cleveland here on DraftKings, batter props, and on the hits plus runs plus RBIs, you'll see slight juice towards the over for David Fry here at -120. And the second pick was Tyler Freeman, a bit more juice at -125. These are not the best picks in the world. I have seen better picks at like -135, -130, but there was a lot of early games today, so we got to do it what's left. So this is going to be the full slip. If these guys up end up DNPing, so David Fry or Tyler Freeman, make sure to cancel the slip because you're losing value when it reverts down to that 3-man. So other than DNPs, this will be the slip for tonight.